all these crimes against journalists was committed under Akuffö. Majority of them, like 99.9 of them. Now, you have to understand the say, Ansana, a report like this will come out. There are so many factors coming together to make sure say a report like this, and they can say press freedom in Ghana at tier 30 all the way to 60th position. Now, Obabusa will say, why is the government not worried? Why are people still defending such a terrible government that attacks journalists when they want to constructively criticize it? Because it's the job of the journalist to constructively criticize. Assassinate etisono so obi kan semfa as a journalist and as Ghanani na se onti asie se eyemtro, you have the right to go to court. Nobody has that right to attack a journalist and say you are not supposed to write. If the person reports about you and it is negative and it is false, you also have other alternatives to make sure say the nipa na trono either say odebeko court mana retract and now say nipa no odebeko court say jail jele. You also have the right channel, because assassinate so eyemra and yedibu e mine. Now, at this point, you expect journalists in Ghana, majority and the so-called senior journalists in Ghana, to be very worried, like Okubaku, like Ben Efson, like the so-called media, we know everything, Kwame Sefakai. You expect them to be worried about this latest ranking. But why do you think they are not worried? Some people are even finding ways to defend a government that, at the end of the day, brutalizing journalists, killing some of them, and they themselves to be journalists. Why do you think, and the minute Obidahu Ghana or journalists that will try and divert the attention or try and defend this terrible, dangerous government? Why do you think a journalist will do that? Why do you think a journalist will be mute? Because let me tell you, if you're a journalist watching me, Ghana, that's our report hereby. It's a Ghana government, and I said, minor, a yet Casatro, a trotro for, and I said, journalists for no. Omuni a freedom to work now. This report in a free 30th position to the 60th position. Do you know what it means? It means to say every single journalist in Ghana, you don't have more than 24 hours to live. This report we are seeing here, we think it's a joke, no? A crow at this America, so a crisis, and Kameno say, and Kenya. That report now about a year press freedom rankings now you saw the killings of Ahmed Swali. You saw it for yourselves. It just said if you're a journalist in Ghana or life, you don't have more than 24 hours to live in Ghana. You can be killed any day. Anas was forced to run and go take cover. That thief calling himself a journalist, Manasseh Zuri, he was forced to leave this country. So many people have been attacked. Normal journalists. This report is a clear notice telling you people, telling you journalists, telling you young students in DIJ say no journalist in Ghana under Akuffö has over 24-hour lifespan. You can die. And it is not like it is through the manipulations and also the orchestrations of people in power today. And if you see this as just a mere statement, Bobia and Samu, you saw what they did to them. So we're a journalist or Ghana as a young journalist, just where there's just numbers. No, a life awareness notice. This is a caution to journalists that under Akuffö, you don't have more than 24 hours. So every 24 hours, it's a blessing. Maybe he took his eye off you. You can be killed any day. Now see this. Ghana's poor ranking in 2022 World Press Freedom Index, not surprising. And this is coming from Suleiman Brahma. Now, Suleiman Brahma, I say, so ranking nearby, it is what? It is not surprising. Are you surprised? I am not surprised. I am not surprised because the government of the day has shown consistently, say, it's a government that is not ready to work with the media. And when I say not ready to work with the media, ready to work with media, or are ready to speak the truth? Because they have their own media. Like the Kwame Sefa Kinds, the Paul Adumotres, those are the people who are emboldening the Akuffö's criminals to kill other journalists. Because they are the ones who are supposed to be like, you know what? These people are just like me. If I'm in your party, it does not mean say, or another party will not come out, they will not come after me. So those people, Kwame Sefa Kind, Paul Adumotre, Ben Efsen, Egbert Fabel, those people, Kwame Tikase, Jimmy Forum, they are the one giving this government that power to go after other journalists. Because what happens is they defend the criminality of the government. Any journalist who tries to speak against the actions of this government, becomes an enemy to those journalists. The Paul Adumotres and the Kwame Sefa Kinds, they are enemies to those journalists who want to write truth. Those journalists who want to expose crime. So what happens is that these so-called people, they are leading the government to go after their own. No government will have that power to go after journalists. When journalists are together, when journalists speak one voice, no. But when you have some part of the journalists who control majority of the mainstream media being on the part of the criminals, anyone who is a journalist and is against that clique is an enemy. So Paul Adumotre can tell the national security to go after a journalist and later come on TV to say, what did the journalists do? The journalists actually wrote something bad and then the government has to do something. So what they do, they use Kwame Sefa Kind, Paul Adumotre, Kweku Bakumo to make sure that the government destroy their own. So the enemy of the journalists in Ghana today, Ghana's journalism, enemy are themselves. The people who are part of them, they are not working to protect each other. That is why today you get up, such a news is not big news. It is not flying because majority of the people who are working for these criminals, are the ones helping them to destroy those guys who they say you are not defending Akuffö's criminality. Akuffö killed 8 people during the elections. Akuffö has gone after Anas. Akuffö has gone after Azuri. Akuffö, Bobia Ansa. They don't. The moment you step away from their gang, they will send them to come kill you. So this report does not worry Kwame Sefa Kind. It does not worry Paul Adumotre. It does not worry Kweku Bakumo. Ben Efsen does not worry him. It does not worry them because they are the ones giving them the blueprint how to go after these young journalists. See this. I want to show you a few things. How they are trying to brush away this serious report. The rights of journalists are not more important than others. This is the president, the NMC boss. Now we are talking about rights of journalists being trampled upon. Now you have to understand, say, anything that Ghana will be journalism school. Now journalism school, if you force report, you can be prosecuted. And every single journalist in Ghana walk through the mill understands that. If you force report, there are consequences. So for you, the NMC board, the media, the National Media Commissioner said, whatever boss to come and try to say, oh, assembly is there. Journalists, so their rights are not different from any. No, what we are talking about now is a government that is going after journalists. Your people already know their job. They know when they force report, they know the consequences. Now, what this man is trying to do is say he is trying to protect the government acts. Yeah, because if you are not protecting the government act, every professional journalist know the consequences when they actually come out and report bad story. When they don't have facts, they know somebody can sue them. Now, as we have what do? You come out in full gear to tell the government or tell the responsible agency, and also tell the government that, you know what, this looks very scary. This is bad. Consistently, your actions toward government, journalists, it is wrong. You don't give them that hope that journalists the right of journalists are not more important than others. Nobody is saying journalists have rights than anybody else. But journalists cannot be victims. They cannot be targets. That is what we are looking at. The report that came out was not a UN report on human rights. The report that came out was a report on free speech. It is on journalism. So we are specifically talking about journalism and what they are facing. So for you to just come out and say the right of journalists are not more important than the others, nobody has said journalists have more rights than anybody. In fact, every journalist knows the consequences when you report bad news or fake news. The issue here we are talking about is consistent. The government has used security machinery. The government has gone and killed journalists. As we speak today, there is a journalist, or a journalist was murdered. A journalist has been murdered. Some are suffering from injuries that they cannot recover from. Then you start to come and talk about other people's rights. We know journalists don't have rights than anybody else, but we are talking about the report. Journalists been organa onims and people's rights to have to be protected. And this is what they do. World Press Freedom Report now, it is clearly telling the world and telling Ghanaians to say, we are journalists of Ghana, you are better off dead than good. Any day you can die. Reports in the catch journalists in Ghana say, so we live through 24 hours, sir. You are lucky. Catch Ghana for says somebody like Kennedy Japan to be TV so investigative journalist in him, people like that, there are more. And people like Kennedy, they will do more. So I don't expect the leadership of our media agencies to even come and start talking about journalists don't have rights more than individuals. We know. No journalists have rights than anyone, but we are talking about the report. What does the report say? In Tisanko, what they do is they always try to find ways to protect a sick government. What is the sense in this statement? What's the sense in this? There's nothing in it. You are just protecting a bad government. For what? And I expect the journalists in Ghana to be angry about these kind of statements. I was expecting you to come out, make an emphatic statement and say, hey, journalists are not animals. We are not fools. We have seen some of our colleagues shot. Till date, nothing has been done about it. We have seen some of our colleagues now having serious injuries they cannot recover from. You know, this is not a time for you to come and compare rights. Anybody who sits in front of a mic, you sit on TV, calls himself or herself as a journalist, knows the consequences when you report something bad about somebody. So this is not a time for you here to remind us. This is the time you have to use your platforms to let the government know that we are not sheep. That is why we have this report. Now see this. Ghana's latest press freedom ranking depressing. So, what have you done about it? This guy does not deserve to be the president or the boss of Ghana Journalists in Ghana Journalists Association. They need to sack this doll. Where are your puppets? You saw how he won his elections the last time? If your money is a junkie. If this guy is the face of Ghana journalism, then we are fools as journalists to go vote for this guy. His statements don't have anything called like it does not come with any you see, when leaders make statements, those statements need to have some weight. Those statements need to have some effect, positive or negative. But this guy, since he became the GJA boss, he has never made a statement. Now, is he representing people who are the voices for the voiceless? No. Because the position you are in as the boss of Ghana journalists, it is not a small position. You are the mouthpiece of people who are ready to dare. People who are ready to go to places people don't want to go. People who are ready to investigate criminals. You are a voice. So you don't come out and make such childish, weak statement. It is depressing. It is depressing. So that's it. Oh, where they are some way they are depressing, you don't deserve to lead. You need to send a signal. You need to send some shots to people for you to see some positive energy. You see, something needs to change. We can't keep allowing these politicians to use the police, to use the army, to use thugs, keep killing journalists, threatening people. We can't keep doing this. Somebody from Ghana, or somebody about America, Addö Kelvin Taylor, we had journalists in Ghana, no more Bonabaso. What I have done in America, even standing before Kennedy in court, it's a victory for journalism in Ghana. Because if this fool had won in America, you will see journalists in Ghana jubilating against a journalist who had put out facts no animal has been able to contest. But we saw journalists in Ghana jubilate. Why? Canada, Japan now obe show a journalist face on TV to be shot. You know, he is coming to America to sue Kelvin Taylor. So you see journalists in Ghana jubilating. And their uncle sue Kelvin Taylor. Na Kelvin Taylor ni mungwase. Na only so sue Kelvin Taylor we na owinia obo kunsa abua. Do you know that? Because he had that energy to expose an investigative journalist, and that person was killed. His actions caused that. Even though he did not pull the trigger, his actions was part of the reaction. Jimmy, how many media houses, how many journalists took that advantage to sit on TV to discuss Canada, Japan, suing Kelvin Taylor in America? So many of them. How many of them were able to know that Kelvin Taylor winning a case here or whatever is victory for a journalist in Ghana? None of them, they don't even understand their job. What I did here in America, the amount of money I spent in court, I didn't care. I wanted to send a message to protect journalists in Ghana. He can control the court in America, in Ghana. He can do that. He can insult the Chief Justice and still the Chief Justice will say, go. He can insult a judge, threaten a judge, and still go ahead and nothing will happen to him. But the United States of America was built on principles. Intelligent people built this nation. The law does not respect anybody. So you need to understand, you need that protection. You need that protection. The moment you become ignorant about that, a journalist like Canada, Japan can threaten you, put a journalist's face on TV, he can be shot and no court, no investigator, no IGP can call him to interrogate him. It shows to say the majority of these journalists don't even know. You don't even know what you are in. I have done something in America that is protecting you in Ghana. You can stand in any court and let your lawyer quote the case between Canada, Japan, and Kelvin Taylor. You have no idea. See this. The peak of media attacks was under military government when a president could detain anybody at his own pleasure. We are talking about the rankings. And then Ben Efson comes and say, what you are seeing, it does not matter because during the military rule time, something worse happened. You see how foolish some fancies can be. Infantinia with Jimmy. Then Ahmed Swale is dead. And Akwasiya Wedenam. Ahmed Swale has been shot, wasted, and this fool is walking around. So indirectly, this fool is defending what? In our history as a nation, we have never seen such a ranking before. Journalists don't have protection. Journalists cannot say, I'm going to cover this story and live. But a so-called senior journalist come and say, oh, this is not worse. We saw worse one when a military regime was there. Really? Is that the best comparison this fool can give? And then we see young, intelligent, hardworking, young journalists being wasted. And fools like this are walking. Why I need to the panel and on I'm Ghana and Jimmy. That is my problem. They still don't get it. And it is not like they don't know what they are doing. Ben Efson knows what he's doing. He's just defending crime. When did you ever hear Ben Efson spend time on Ahmed Swale's issue? Call Canada, Japan out. He can't. Jimmy To, Infantini, why the belle? Jimmy To, ni refide Ochina, he can be shot in the head. Ni refide, tomorrow, Canada, Japan can sit on TV and say, Ben Efson, whatever you want to do to him, I will pay. Where Jim, and these are the people walking around and say we are intellectuals. Yeah, trouble. What trouble for where Jimmy? I was saying, so where Jimmy? All that we are seeing today, it shouldn't be a problem because during some military time, regime, something like that happened. You are a foolish old man, very, very useless. Ben Efson is one of the most useless, foolish journalists I've ever come across. You are a fool. I'm telling you. We are talking about lives being lost here. We are talking about careers being shattered. You are a foolish man.